Anybody who has been creating videos for more than a couple of years is guilty of the same one mistake, and that is purchasing equipment they regret or don't really use too much. Something that falls into the total opposite of that though is batteries. We all have them and we all use them. So in today's video, we're going to take a look at the best one I have ever used, why it's better than all the other batteries, and why it might just be the only one you ever need. Batteries, definitely not the sexiest subject in the world of camera tech, but definitely an important one. Today we're going to take a look at the new SmallRig VB212. I'm sure we all recognise the face on the box because that is Caleb from DSLR Video Shooter. For anybody who does not recognise him though, and has been living under a rock, SmallRig have collaborated with him to create this battery. He has been one of the most consistent YouTubers in this YouTube camera space over the last decade. And just like me and all you guys watching, I'm sure he has affected so many careers and added value to so many people's lives. So seeing his face and name attached to this product is definitely a good place to start. I remember buying my first V-mount battery over a decade ago when they was extremely overpriced with pretty much zero features other than being able to power a camera. The VB212 though is worlds apart from that and packs in so much more than just being a camera battery. So let me show you what this thing can actually do. Let's start off with housekeeping. SmallRig did reach out to me asking if I would like to review this battery. Funnily enough though, this was actually on my list of things to buy, so it felt like a bit of a no-brainer. As always though, they don't get any input or say on how I create the video, and they do not get to see it until it's public on YouTube like everybody else. The world of camera batteries is a bit all over the place at the moment. We have the internal batteries from Lumix, Canon, Sony. These are normally the smallest batteries and hold the least amount of capacity. They normally work really well as the cameras they are used with are really low power draw, giving you a long battery life of such a small battery. Moving up from there, we go into the NPF style batteries. These are similar in shape, but just a little bit larger than internal batteries from cameras. These normally power stuff like accessories, monitors, transmitters, receivers, the type of stuff that you would rig up your camera. There's also the BP style batteries, and these are used by Canon and Sony in the broadcast world in their cinema lineup. They've also recently just been adopted by Blackmagic with their new Pixus camera. These are great if your camera has a little bit more power draw, but you want to keep it small and get long battery life. Then coming on to what I would say are the industry standard battery. V-locks, V-mounts, they're called different things, but they're all based around the mounting mechanism that is on the back of the battery. This is shaped like a letter V and goes on in a downwards motion, attaching the battery to whatever it is going to power. These have now been around for around 30 years since Sony introduced the V-port. They come in similar kind of square or rectangle shapes, but come in a massive range of different watt hours. And these are kind of the biggest watt hour batteries you can get without jumping into a power station or a generator. Another good thing to note is there is also the gold mount battery system. These are pretty identical to V-mounts, but instead of using the V-port system, what slides down, they slide on across, and these are also pretty popular batteries. Now we are all up to speed, let's take a look at the VB212. The 212 number that is in the name basically represents the watt hours of the battery. V-mounts range from 50 watt hours, which is normally the smallest, all the way up to, I have seen one as big as 420 watt hours. Let me know in the comments below if anyone has ever seen a bigger V-mount. As you probably guess here though, the bigger the watt hours, the bigger and heavier the battery. So depending on your needs or camera rig, it's good to try and line up somewhere in the middle of balance versus performance. Personally, the most common one I own is around 200. I have 4x198 IDX duo batteries in a kit which sit nicely in a pelly case. I do also own some lighter V-mounts. I have two 50 watt V-mounts and two 140 watt V-mounts. Another super important fact to note is that you can only take up to a 100 watt battery on an aeroplane. So if you're someone who travels a lot, make sure to look for a 99 watt V-mount or below. And this is the same reason that MacBooks and laptops in general all have up to a 99 watt hour battery. So if I already own a bunch of different styles of V-mount batteries, then why do I say the VB212 is the best one yet? Let's start off by talking about I/O. The inputs and outputs on this battery are amazing. The star of the show is the two USB-C ports on top of the battery. Both the USB-C ports take power in and power out, and they are both rated for PD. This basically means power delivery, which means fast. They can charge the battery from 0% to full in under 2 hours. Now this is really good for something with 212 watt hours. And what's even better than that is they can output a massive 140 watts. We've all seen power banks that can say fast charge a mobile phone, but most of these max out at around 40 watts. To put this into perspective, a MacBook Pro maximum charge off an outlet is 100 watts. An amazing example and use case for this high output in the battery is I was finishing up a YouTube review edit that I needed to render. My MacBook was low on charge, but I also needed to set off to a shoot. So while in my production van driving to the shoot, I used my MagSafe 2 USB-C cable into the VB212 and got 100 watts into my MacBook. Not only could I render the video without running out of battery, it actually also charged my battery to nearly full before the render had finished. Anybody who has tried this before with a power bank off Amazon will have found out that normally when you are plugged in and doing heavy tasks like editing or rendering, your battery life normally still goes down. So it's super impressive to see that this is a portable battery that not only allowed me to render the video but also took me to full charge at the same time. On the top, we also have an older type A USB port and also an 8V port and a 12V port. Those 8 and 12V ports come in handy when powering camera accessories. Sometimes when you purchase a camera accessory, inside the box, you'll get an 8V cable or a 12V cable that you'll be able to use here. We're not done yet though, as anybody who does know will know the most important output for any battery in the camera world would be D-tap. It gets its D-tap name from the port being shaped like the letter D, and pretty much any camera accessory out there can be powered from this port. We not only have one D-tap port, but we have two on either side, and this is more important than you would think, as what happens with a lot of camera rigs is one of your D-tap ports may be blocked by a HDMI or SDI port, a power cable coming out the side of the camera, which you need one on the other side of your battery. We also have a power on switch to turn on the screen, which is on the front of the battery, and the D-tap port below that allows power in, and this is just another way to charge the battery. So let's talk about that screen that is on the front of the battery. Over the last couple of years, we have seen more and more battery manufacturers releasing V-mounts with screens on the front of them that give us information. But the VB212 takes that to another level. On the right hand side of the screen, we have a remaining battery bar, and in the middle we have remaining battery percentage. Just below that we have a time that counts down, telling you how long is left at your current power draw. On the left hand side of the screen we have all these different numbers and letters in columns. Each one of these represents a different way of inputting and outputting from this battery. Starting off with C1 and C2, which represent the two USB-C ports on top of the battery. Then we have the letter A that represents the type A USB-C port. Then we have DC1 and DC2 representing that 8V and 12V output. And finally, we have DT1 and DT2 representing both of the D-tap ports on the battery. To the bottom left of the screen, you will see TDP. This stands for Total Discharging Power. And basically what this is it adds all the outputs together and gives you a reading in watts. It's actually super surprising and way more useful than you could imagine, finding out what is actually draining your battery, and you'll be surprised at how much things are taking more power than others, and it allows you to get much longer out of your day. If you are enjoying this and want to come along with me to find out what the best ways to make videos are, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you can help me help you make better videos. Let's talk about what it's like to use in the real world. Something a lot of people don't talk about is that all V-mounts are not made equal. Compatibility can be confusing. I originally purchased 2 V-mounts and 1 V-mount charger. Later down the road, I purchased 2 more V-mounts of a different brand. They did not charge on my original V-mount charger. So I purchased a new V-mount charger which did charge the new batteries and also charge the old batteries. But you see where I'm going here, this can be very confusing. Another good example would be to power my Aperture Nova. I have 4 V-mounts that don't work and 4 V-mounts that do work. I have no idea why, and I'm sure you can guess here that you have 1,000 jobs to do when you're on set, and the last thing you want to be doing is guessing which V-mounts are going to actually work. But with the VB212, I can say that I've tested it across all my V-mount chargers and it can power all my lights. I can only speak for the equipment I own, but comparing this to my other V-mounts, it just seems to work. The build quality is really good. The screen could be a weak point, but SmallRig do list this as scratch resistant. There's like a rubber in all the places where you will grab and pick up the battery, what makes it feel really expensive, as normally V-mount batteries are just entirely plastic. To say it has 212 watts, its size and weight are not too bad. Comparing it to my 198 watts, I would say it is a similar size, being a little bit thicker, but I would also say it weighs a little bit less. One small negative, and it's not just with the VB212, across all V-mounts, when you purchase them, they don't really come with a way to transport them. It'd be nice if there was some sort of like case to hold just one battery, so it could go in a pellet or a backpack, but I guess they expect you to buy a full kit. The only other small issue I've had with the VB212 is that on my Sony Bravano, on the actual camera screen itself, it constantly reads 40% battery. This is a small issue, as I guess on the screen of the battery is always going to be more accurate anyways. I had a quick look online and the VB212 seemed to be the cheapest V-mount battery from a manufacturer I have heard of online. Considering it's pretty much no compromise, all its inputs and outputs, it's definitely going to be the battery I am purchasing moving forward. But I guess buying batteries is not going to improve your videos. What will improve your videos though is learning this free method of exposing right here.